well. Okay, let's talk about measurement and baseline. There's the most confusion overall. And before we do that, I really want to get back to the goals as well and the outcomes we're trying to drive to, right? And so I think of outcomes as before you measure and create a baseline, you need to know why you're even doing that and what ultimately you're trying to drive to. And I really think about ultimately conversion, swiping a credit card, buying from you, creating pipeline. That's ultimately conversion. That's lagging. And that's what drives business value to your business, right? And at some point, for the majority of businesses, someone has to end up on your website sometime and sign up for a form, sign up for a product, do something, take some action, right? And I'm saying most businesses because there's some businesses that mostly sell on, let's say, Amazon or their retail and whatnot. So it doesn't apply to 100% of businesses, but for the majority of businesses, they end up this demand that you're creating and this attention and this visibility that you're creating has to end up at some point as traffic. And that traffic has to engage. They can't just bounce back, right? And those signals are really, really important. So those are some of the outcomes we care about. And then it comes to AI visibility. But visibility is such a charged word, and search is well defined because there's so much data available, historical data, and it's so easy to measure against because you have the direct attribution way more easily. But when it comes to AI visibility, it's very different because for every stage of the funnel, this is going to be different, right? And so our methodology, the way we're thinking about this is really breaking it down when it comes to AI visibility and how you're doing in AEO. It's really breaking it out into presence versus reputation, alignment, and influence. So let me explain that a little bit more. So presence is not just whether or not you're mentioned. There is a lot more to the presence across different engines, also breaking down based on the context of some of these buyer questions that you're trying to monitor, right? And so for a use case, are you present or not? Or for a different slice or segment of your broader market, are you being recommended or not? Are you actually being just mentioned or are you actually being recommended? How high up are you being recommended? How often? What's the variability of when you are versus you're not? Like sometimes you are, sometimes you're not. It's very inconsistent, right? Like those are all things that are important that inform like a broader composite score of your overall AI presence, right? And how you define that scope is going to matter a lot. And what we find is the more you blend things together, the less useful and actionable they are. And it could be that that number is making it seem like it's up to the right. And it could be that it's true, but you don't know for a fact, right? So it's so much better to go more granular when it comes to measuring AI visibility. And then you can do like blended averages if you want to report and say, hey, across these 32 segments, we're winning in 13 out of 32 segments. Okay, great. Like you are the strongest presence in 13 out of 32 segments. That's actually actionable. That's very different than saying we have a 32% visibility score. That's very different, right? and so averages make you lose so much. And so just be really, really careful with averages, especially across engines, because across engines, they're so different. Also, the market share of how people are using different engines for your personas might be completely different. They might be in Claude Code all day, and how you measure that is very different than if they're more of a prosumer type in ChatGPT. Then reputation is about really measuring. You don't need to do this daily. Reputation doesn't change daily, but it's really figuring out like what are the market signals that are either contributing or hurting how AI talks about and perceives you and buyers perceive you, right? Keep in mind, there's two things here. There is the reputation because it's negatively impacting how AI is talking about you. And that data might be making its way into the training data of these models. So then it's getting really baked into the weights of these models. But then there's that part of reputation that actually impacts buyer sentiment as well, right? And then it causes them to not want to buy from you as well. And so reputation impacts two things here. And then all of this goes into alignment. And in all of these, I'll explain a little bit further, kind of like the double click here. But alignment, there's so many aspects of alignment. They're really, really important. First of all, you need to have grounding for alignment. And that hopefully comes from your context. But if your context is the only thing that is correct and your website is completely off, then everything in the world is going to be misaligned, because no one in the planet other than your employees even know that there's this document that says this thing that no one else has seen before, right? And this happens so often where people say, hey, AI keeps saying the wrong thing, keeps positioning us the wrong way. And then it's like, well, every single thing on the internet, including and especially your website, also says this thing that's wrong. So there's no way that this thing is going to be aligned to a grounding that is not out into the public. And that's why we think of your website as your truth layer, right? And so the first thing is make sure to align your website with your context. So that's something that we start to measure on every single page on your site is brand alignment. And so that's really, really important for you to have a very, simplified way to kind of measure that. And then you can start to then say, okay, now for these different sources, whether it's analysts or reviews, community and social, how aligned are they, and what are they saying, and are they aligned to how I like to talk about or how I want to be perceived, right? And then you can look at alignment against how AI is actually describing you. Because two things could be true, right? Misalignment in how AI talks about parts of your product or whether it recommends you or not, and how it describes why they don't recommend you or they recommend your competitor, could be caused by misalignment from your context, meaning your actual truth in your website. But it could also be caused by your overall reputation, right? And this you can influence, you can control. Your site you can actually control. And sometimes what you can control can start to overpower things that you're trying to influence in a longer horizon, right? And we've seen a lot of this in some of the studies and some of the research we've done, is where anytime these models are doing grounding and search and trying to find up-to-date information, if they ever see something in a third-party site about a brand that is potentially negative or is a fact, then they're going back, and many of these services are trying to check against your site. They're literally doing a site operator, like search operator, and says like site and searching for specific things like pricing, official, features, and it's looking for that. It's giving you a chance to respond, essentially, right? And that's why a lot of the alignment work is so important, besides the visibility part, right? And that all comes to influence, which influence is ultimately looking at how much are you controlling the sources. And it's not just controlling the sources overall, it's controlling the types of source that you are, which you're a vendor site, right? And so how much of the vendor site can you control, or how many of the citations are you controlling, and the things that matter to you. And so that's the overall model here. And so we define AEO as the discipline of managing and optimizing for how AI answer engines represent your brand across those 4 dimensions, right? And for every stage of the funnel, we recommend focusing on something different. And so for awareness, the goal is to frame how buyers think and drive traffic to your site. And traffic is very measurable. And then the primary KPI outside of traffic is citations, right? And making sure that if you created a page and that page is mapped to a question, which we do that automatically, right? Like that, for that question, are you actually influencing that answer in AI? And then for related keywords, are you ranking for that, right? Like, so that's the awareness side of things. For evaluation is about being recommended in the right way, but also within the right scope and the right context, right? It can't just be like a blended thing. So the presence, there's a lot of different factors that will inform a presence. We talked about like variability, how often you're showing up, cross-engine coverage, and coverage across use cases, coverage across different aspects of your context, right? And then it's about alignment and position here. And then when you get into comparison, this actually gets a lot easier to measure, but you can take a lot of these attributes that we're going to talk about here, which is, looking at, and you can define different attributes if you want, but most attributes actually boil up into this, which is capability, usability, value, trust, support, and innovation, right? So you can start to actually probe these models and say, hey, for this buyer, for this use case, for this buying category for this type of product, what are the attributes that matter the most to this buyer or to this type of company in this buyer? And then you can start to measure, now compare these two vendors against these attributes and score these attributes. And so you can really start to like do what's really hard to do in the evaluation stage, which is know, how often you're actually winning these at-bats. And then alignment is really important, right? Like, so if you have, a answer that's saying one of your competitors is better at this thing, but you know conclusively that that's just not true, then you can really start to figure out how to fix that misalignment, okay? And then decision is a lot simpler. This is a lot more around the validating whether or not it's saying the right thing. But this is a lot easier because the decision, you're triggering your brand already, and you're probing your brand in the question itself. And so the likelihood of it going into your site and grabbing content from your site is very, very high. So this is very controllable because you should just have the surface area. What I've noticed is companies that we work with that have a really comprehensive docs site that has a lot of answers baked in to things, they do a much better job in this. And then the post-purchase is kind of the same thing. It's mostly knowing whether or not AI can find the answer and if that answer is accurate. And by the way, with a lot of these things, what people kind of forget is that before citation, before you're recommended, before you're influencing these things, your pages actually have to get indexed by these crawlers, right? And so if your pages are not indexed by these different services, there's no even shot of it ever being ever influencing anything. And so that's a lot of it, and why we always go back to first principles of measuring every page, make sure pages are indexed, make sure those pages are healthy, make sure those pages are aligned to your brand, make sure you define what questions and things like that. Okay, so then that's why there's a bunch of other things here that I'll fly through, but really here you're establishing the baseline. We talked about how to do that with AI and talked a little bit about the alignment, right? And when there are gaps in alignment, why is that? Is that because of reputation, or is that because of how AI is getting that information from your brand? We talked about some of the attributes, and an easy way to kind of think about it, this is like a nice visualization here, is that you can expand those attributes and then look at all your competitors based on these attributes. And then over time, do waves of surveying these models to know, I would not do this daily, by the way. I would do tranches and waves of this. It gets pretty cost prohibitive, but also there's an aspect of this that's just not useful at some point, because it requires to go really deep and do deep research quite a bit here. But now you can start to kind of measure perception overall against different vendors, and you can start to there's a bunch of different ways you can start to map kind of where you are, where the gaps are. Those gaps could be because your product is just not there, and that's just the reality. And it can inform product roadmap, but it also could be just the messaging, positioning, and launching and announcing things, And so next, what we want to do is, and this is all part of like measuring your baseline and setting a strong foundation of measurement, right? What ideally you want to do, and I've seen people build this in custom dashboards, which is super doable. It's a little bit biased towards kind of how we build GrowthOS, our platform. But what we did is pull together every single signal into one single place. And the reason for that is because if you think of the health of your overall site, but a site is made out of pages, every single page is either a growth driver or is a negative signal that's been sent, right? And in order to do that, there's like so many aspects of managing an actual page that in the content. So if you're doing all this effort to measure AI visibility and what you can do about it, and then you're doing all this effort to create content, and then you put it in a CMS, you copy and paste it into a CMS at some point, and then you forget about it, and then you're just opening random reports, and none of those things have the context of your brand, you're really kind of missing the more holistic picture here, right? And so a lot of what we've done is just bring it all in one place, which is something that honestly, over the last several years, I would do by creating like custom Airtables and creating, a bunch of different customizations and plugins and trying to pull data from multiple places. A lot of people are building like apps and dashboards and then dumping a lot of this data and querying via MCPs and putting into a database. And depending on the size of your company, that might make sense. We just found that we needed all of this in one place because the goal here is to create a system of growth, meaning a loop, a way for all these things to be connected, centralized context, centralized intelligence, a system of record that you can act on, and then a way for agents to execute and for humans to steer and give inputs as well, right? So that's the ultimate goal. And you can only improve something that you're actually measuring. And so that's why this is so important to be all in one single place. And so we really think of your website as an investment portfolio, and you should manage it like an investment portfolio. Your pages, your topics, and then for every single page, being able to have the big picture of that page, actually the content itself, the health of the page, the quality score against information gain, against brand alignment, against a comprehensiveness, against a bunch of other things, and then looking at overall traffic and AI visibility as well, all in one single place. And that's why it's so important, because the way we kind of think about it is that every single page has a question that it aligns to. It can have more than one, but has a primary question. And then it has primary keyword and keywords. And it also has a prompt that you're tracking against it as well. And then all this data can be, centralized in one single way, so you know exactly what's happening. Cool. All right.